Hello viewers, today for repair I have a General Electric telephone. This is a 2.4 GHz cordless telephone, and the issue with this telephone is that it's not dialing out correctly. So to perform an initial checkout here, I'm going to turn the telephone on and we're going to cycle through the numbers. And I'm going to zoom this in on the monitor so you can see the buttons, or the registered button presses rather. I'm going to press each button once and we'll see how many times it registers. Got 2 4s there, 2 6s, alright, so that time we got a double dial on 4 and 6. Now I'm going to cycle through it again. Whoa. Alright, so we got a lot of 6s going on there. Oh my goodness. Oh, quite a few 8s too. Alright, so this definitely has a major problem. This is one of the worst cases of double dialing I've ever seen. Alright, so that's pretty consistently not working correctly. So now that we're done with the initial checkout and we've concluded that there is definitely a major problem, I'm going to begin to take this telephone apart and we're going to have a look at the dial pad to see what's going on. Alright, so I've taken the telephone apart and we're looking at the inside of the telephone now. And I want to underscore a couple of things here. The first one is that the design of this telephone is absolutely atrocious. The dumbest thing that I can see that meets the eye is this antenna up here. This plastic antenna does absolutely nothing. The antennas on this telephone are situated here and here. One of these is a 2400 megahertz transmitter and the other one is a 900 megahertz transmitter. Neither of them actually go up into this telephone's antenna. So why they use this telephone, or why they put an antenna on this telephone, is beyond me. It serves absolutely no purpose. The second thing I want to underscore is that in order to remove this board, you have to pull this up at a relatively steep angle to get to the screws under there, which creates a lot of flex and pressure on this particular ribbon cable. That's another very poor design. The last thing I want to underscore is the general poor quality of the assembly of this particular piece on the back here. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this material is on there. It's something brown. It looks like rust, but that's not what it is. It kind of like peels off and almost like I don't know. It just kind of flakes off. But anyways, you can see something dripped onto here, and I don't know if you can see this on the video, but it's like dripping from here onto there, and that's just really junky right there. The other thing I want to underscore is this component right here. This has got rust on it, which I don't know how rust would actually get into this telephone, and it's just dirty, and it's just really poorly done. And another thing I'm just seeing now is the fact that they've used glue on here instead of a good solder joint. Let's get this in focus. look at these connections for the speaker. Oh man, it's out of focus again. I don't know if you can see this on the video, but there's actually hot glue placed over the connections there. So the wires are pretty much glued on, and they're glued down to this board. So if you were to actually replace these wires, you'd have to somehow melt the glue off to get the wires out to replace it. That is just ridiculous. Now, this is kind of an odd case because typically when the buttons aren't registering correctly, this is generally visibly very dirty. And in this particular case, it looks very clean. So that's kind of odd, but I'm going to clean this anyways because generally when the buttons are registering inaccurately, it's not necessarily a spoiled dial-up pad, but rather a bad connection between the dial-up pad and the electronic board. I'm also going to clean this off because it looks like there's some little white particles in there. It could be dust, and that could also be interfering with the operation of the buttons. So I'm going to take a cotton swab with this cleaning stuff on it, and I'm going to clean the areas of the dial pad which have the gold contacts, which are what register the button presses. And there's really no dirt coming off of here, which is not overly surprising because it doesn't look to be dirty at all. So now I'm going to go around here and I'm going to brush this off, see if I can remove that white stuff. And I'm not using the wet end, I'm using a dry end here with no cleaner, because you have to be very careful with cleaning these dial pads, because there's conductive material on the black portions of the buttons, that on these black dots here. And if you clean it too aggressively or with too harsh of a cleaner, you can end up removing the conductive material from the dial pad and it would stop working. So now I'm going to plug in the battery and we're going to test this to see if it works or if there's been any improvement in the functionality of the dialer. I'm going to just set that on there like that, and hopefully, I think you can probably see what's on the display at this point. I'm going to turn it on. We just got 2 4s there, that's not good. Yeah, 4 is still having some problems. 5 seems to be good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now to see if it's a problem with number 4 on the electronics pad or on the dialer pad is I'm going to take number 4, I'm going to put it over a different piece on a different place on the board and see how it registers. Now it seems to be registering reasonably well at this point. I don't know if I can get it lined up properly. So I'm going to take a different portion of the dialer pad, put it over where 4 was. And it does seem like it's having some problems. So I'm going to go back over here in my cleaning solution and I'm going to clean number 4 a little bit more. It looks like that's working pretty well. Alright, so now I'm going to just run through the numbers and I'm going to zoom in on the monitor so we can see how it's working and go through each number once. Okay, so that seems like it's working pretty well. So now I'm going to reassemble the telephone, and I think that will be it for the repair on this telephone. Okay, at this point the telephone has been repaired. The dialer pad was cleaned, and everything seems to be checking out okay. I want to run through the numbers one more time, and that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so as you can see, the buttons are dialing properly and the telephone functionality has been restored. So, thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you have one and subscribe for more videos. Out.